seems to be no way. He works in ways we cannot see. He will make a way for me. He will be my guide, hold me closely to his side. With love and strength for each new day, he will make a way. He will make a way. Let's sing it together. Oh, God will make a way where there seems to be no way. He works in ways.
Welcome to From the Heart. I'm glad you've joined us today. I have as my guest somebody that I go back a long way with, and he's just an icon here in Scottsville because he's been around for a long, long time, Dr. John Hall. I interviewed Dale not long back, and so I thought I'd like to talk to him about his years in Scottsville. Let's go. First, let's introduce your family. Tell me about your kids, and let's let everybody know where they are now.
I've got 5 children.
5 children.
Five are grown.
I got to know all of them. Go ahead.
Yeah, 16 grandchildren.
Oh my goodness! I have
And
one.
4 great-grandchildren.
4 greats. Oh
4
my goodness!
great-grandchildren.
I bet you have a time at Christmas, don't you? Do they come to your house?
Yeah, they bring their sleeping bags and all that and have a big time.
I'm sure you do. It's wonderful.
But we only get them every other year.
Oh,
Okay.
well, that's the way it usually works with all of us. I guess that's the fair thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, and he's married to Dale Hall, and Dale was mayor for a long time here in Scottsville, and Dr. Hall came here when Dr. Davis was down at the office. Is that right?
That's
Am I
correct.
remembering correctly? And just tell me about your start in Scottsville.
All right. After I finished my training, Dale and I both come from small communities. She comes from Stanford. I come from Magoffin County, Sayersville, which is a small community. All right. And after we got ready to, and I got my license and through medical school and all, we decided we didn't want to stay in Kentucky, but we wanted to be in a small town because that's where we were both raised. Okay. And so I went through the medical society, who has a list of doctors that's seeking help, okay? And Dr. Owen Davis's name was on it. So we came down, made several visits, brought my father with me, and we looked over Scottsville and talked to a lot of folks around, and we just decided that we thought Dr. Davis was a wonderful person, and so we decided that we'd come to Scottsville because it was so friendly. And he introduced me to all the people around, and hey, it worked out fine.
Well, you had a wonderful person to work with.
Yes, I
because
sure did.
He was my doctor before you came, and he was a good man. I loved him and his family.
He taught me a lot. Of course, I was green behind the ears, when I first came, but we got along fine, and we worked together. I guess he retired in 1975. So from 61 to 75, we worked together in the clinic where it is now.
And you've been there ever since, haven't you?
Yeah, been there. Of course, when I first came here, his office was up on the square back in the corner where the old jewelry store was.
Okay, now I didn't go to him then.
Okay, but anyway.
I don't remember that.
He was completing the clinic building where I am now.
Okay.
And we moved in on August the 1st, 1961, and been there ever since.
Well, I was in college at that time. That might explain why I didn't remember that.
But I had to serve in the Army. I was in the Army from 1962 to 64. And I kept all my leave absence there to come so Dr. Davis had to take his vacation time and have a few days off. So, So for the 2 years that I was in the Army, I came up fairly frequently.
Now you bought a house. Where was that?
Bought a house out at right behind White Plains area there. Then
You had an experience when you lived there, didn't you? Was that the house that had
No,
the fire?
that's not the one.
That's not the one? Okay,
that
well,
was
we're going to
the
talk
first
about
one
that
we
one
moved,
for a minute.
The first one we moved into was up there in White Plains, and then I got my Army draft notice, so we only stayed there a few months before I had to go to
see.
the Army.
Okay.
But we came back and we rented a house over in Southwest Park. Well, we had all those young kids, you know.
Right.
Vera found a cigarette lighter somewhere because we didn't smoke, you know, but Dale and Mary Meadow were there talking, neighbors, how neighbors do, and they started smelling smoke. She had crawled under the bed, flipped the lighter on, and started a fire under the bed. And Dale hollered at me, and we finally got everybody out of the house, and the house was damaged pretty good.
Now, how'd you end up at Emma's? Did you know that were they friends?
We didn't know, or they just offered to take care of us till we found a place.
To take care of you, well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
They were that kind of people.
Yeah, they sure
all
were.
of the Hobby girls are precious
all the
to
hobbies
me.
are that way. Yeah,
Yes,
so,
they had a giving spirit about them. And
then,
I remember y'all being over there, and I just thought it was so funny to hear her story of how she caught your house on fire. It wasn't funny to you, though, was it?
No,
Bless
it
your heart.
wasn't.
And that was when you had them all as little ones.
Yeah, but we were lucky with the fire department come put it out because there's a lot more smoke and water damage than there was fire. So, but nobody was injured. We got through it.
Now, who are some of the nurses you had since you've been there?
Oh,
Can
Miss
you think of-
Spurlock. You remember Miss Spurlock?
I vaguely remember her.
She was the chief nurse at the old Allen County Hospital for a long time, and in fact, there's let me think who was we delivered a lot of babies, you know, and we got used to the nurses and
Well, don't worry about it. Do you know how many babies you delivered? Have you ever kept a record of it?
Dr. Davis and I, while we were together, delivered in the thousands. And we enjoyed it. It was good work, and it's a happy time when you got a new baby.
A bundle of joy for
that's right.
somebody, and over 1,000 of them.
So we both enjoyed that part of our practice, really did, and it was. My favorite thing was that if they came in for the prenatal checkup, I'd listen to the heartbeat and all that, and I'd try to tell them what it was going to be, a boy or girl. But I was just guessing. Okay.
Well, I guess they took yours as an educated guess.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, I know Dr. Hall likes to golf. You're a big golfer, aren't you?
Well, have been for a long time.
And the farm? Do you
I
still farm?
Still farm a little bit, and got to raise some Black Angus. We enjoy it. Of course, I really bought the farm when the boys were coming up, so that they would have something to do, you know, not
Useful.
be running on the street, and they'd have certain jobs to do at a certain time. So that's the way they were raised.
Well, that was a good thing. It was, and they're all disciplined and doing well, have
Doing
good
well.
jobs.
That's correct.
And
Yeah.
one or two of them favors him a lot, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
John's the oldest boy.
Yes,
Yeah.
John, I guess, is the one that looks the most like you, right?
Yeah. Well.
I don't know. No, which one's the one out at school? Is one of them out here at the high school?
John's still out
Is
at
it
the high
John?
school.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's the one that I think favors you.
And then Vera, she teaches third grade, been out there for a good long time.
Yeah.
So.
Vera Ellen, and the kids I watched them as they grew up. I kind of grew up with them.
Yeah.
Older, but you grow up, I guess, you have to, as you go along in life.
True.
Do you have any funny things that happen that comes to mind? I tell you, while he's thinking about that, Dr. Hall, you can be a mile away and him laughing, and you know it's his laugh.
Yeah.
Somebody told me when he was in the hospital not long ago, you might tell him a little bit about that, that they heard your laughter all the way down the hall, and that was the day you were coming home. So you had a little round of sickness, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a little episode of bumping the road one morning. I got up and, what, Labor Day, I guess it was. And she says, your left side of your face is swooped down. I says, what? I don't feel anything at all. oh, we're going to the hospital. So they took me to the hospital, and they found I had a little irregular heartbeat and probably had a TIA, that is a transient ischemic attack, that paralyzed me for a few hours there. And the MRIs and the EKGs and all that they ran on me turned out okay. So after 3 or 4 days in the hospital, they sent me home.
That was a blessing to get out
so
that
I'm back,
quickly.
Back to the office, missed about a week of working, but other than that, I'm doing fine.
You know, we would say to people to notice those things, the husband or wife, if you see that side of the face drawn, or the speech being off. And I've forgotten the others. There's some other signs, but anyway, it's something that you need to be aware of, because the quicker you act, the better.
You need to get some professional help.
The help will be. Yes,
that's right. So,
and a lot of people don't think about that. They don't want to go to the doctor, men especially. So.
Yeah, they're a little hard-headed.
Well, I'm glad you went and glad you're back out.
Okay.
And, you want to tell me anything funny or anything that's happened? Or tell me some of the things that have gone on as a doctor in Scottsville.
I think that I laugh about every now and then. I had some old fellow when I first got here, and I checked him out, and he was having some problems, and so I told him what I thought, and I wrote him a prescription, and he said, well, I'm glad to see you come to this community, Doc. He says, but let me tell you something. There's 2 things you can't hear in Allen County. I says, what's that? He said, fried meat or fried, and the truth. I've got a kick out of that.
He was summing it up for you, wasn't he?
So, but I've developed a after so long, you take care of these folks, they won't go to anybody else.
Right. Well, they kind of become your family.
Yeah, and some lady the other day was quite touching to me. She said, I heard you were retiring. I says, no, I had no plans to retire. I says, well, I want to tell you. She says, and tears rolled down her eyes, and she says, you can't quit until I die.
Oh, that's sweet.
So that touches you, how much faith that they had in what I could do for them.
Well, you saved my life a lot of times with migraines. I tell you, I would call, sometimes have to call at home. I remember one time he gave me a shot in your driveway.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I remember that.
Because I had horrible ones and still have them occasionally, but nothing like I did.
Nothing like you used to, right.
I think you got to where you had me a standing appointment for a shot when I had to have it, because if I didn't get it, I would be vomiting and just deathly sick. Yeah. I asked my heart doctor if that, when he did the heart surgery, if that would stop it. He said, honey child, if that would stop it, I'd be a tree in there. Because I knew it wouldn't. I was just cutting up with him, but I was fortunate.
Had a lot of fun with the folks, and
do you know?
Go ahead.
Do you know who's been with you the longest of patients? Have you ever thought about that?
Well, every now and then, that I'll be walking down the hospital hall, and some young person would come up to me and ask me, "Do you remember me?" I says, "Well, I may know you, but I haven't seen you in a long time." She says, "Well, you delivered me 45 years ago."
Oh.
So they remember.
You've been quite an asset. Did you all do any home visits when you first came here?
Yes, we did.
Because I seem to remember that.
Still do occasional home call if somebody's, they call an ambulance to go to the ER and all, it's a big expense, So the old folks that I've been taking care of for long, a lot of times I'll go check their blood pressure, and all
well,
that.
I sure didn't know you still did that.
I still do that.
That's the hometown doctor for you, because a lot of those nice things have slipped away,
Yeah.
Especially with older folks, because ER has gotten to be ridiculous.
Yeah,
I got a bill from Birmingham when I was down there, and the overnight stay I had with a cough that it had just hurt me so bad, and we were on the way to Florida, and I got my bill the other day, and it said 26,000 something, and I'm thinking, this can't be right. I just spent the night there.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It is
really
expensive.
is,
What do you see that they're putting on doctors with what's going on right now? Does it
Well,
bother you some the way it seems to be?
It's
There's so much
it's a big
to it.
mess, really.
Right.
In other words, first of all, they tell me what I can do in my office. You know, and I've been at it 50 years now. You know, and I've done well with it as far as pleasing the patients. But now you've got to. They put. Once you get on Medicare or Medicaid or one of those, then it takes a lot of my time. The old prescriptions I've been written for them, you know, it's not available
Not
anymore.
available.
You know, or the insurance doesn't pay for it, and so it's frustrating to deal with them because they're telling me how to practice medicine, and I don't like that.
Well, I don't blame you. And I know Dr. Hendricks is retiring at the end of the year, and he's been my family doctor. I don't know how I got hooked up with him, but I've been going to him.
Yes.
Dr. Hall still helps me out when I get in trouble.
Yeah.
And I loved going to him, and I love Dr. Davis. He was special. So
Yeah.
doctors come to mean a lot to you
Yeah.
through the years, especially
Yeah.
when they stayed with you the whole time.
Well, the thing about it, it makes it easier on the medical staff. If you've been there several times, they already know, you know, what medicine we're giving you, and how stable you are, and all this kind of stuff. So you just can't hop from one doctor to another because he can't gather up all your information at one visit.
Everybody needs a family doctor.
You're absolutely
Yes, they
right.
do.
Yeah.
And you've seen a world of them.
Yeah.
Do you have any special friends still living that you play golf with?
Oh yeah.
You can give their names. I don't know who you have fun
Well,
with.
Larry Jarrell,
Okay.
and of course Mark Huntsman. Then I had a friend, Noel Lewis, Larry's friend from Nashville when he was in the paper business. We went for 46 straight years, the third week in February, to play golf.
Really?
And that was a great.
You don't do that now?
No, don't do that now. This is the last year we went, but this is the last one because Larry can't walk. He's got a bad knee, and Gene's is, you know, has some problems. So, but we sit down every now and then and call up old times.
Reminisce about the way it was.
Yeah.
Well, I know you've always had a sense of humor, and you bring a joy to people instead of you know, so many people go to a doctor and they're so frightened of what they're going to get. And I know the times that I'd go to Dr. Hall, I just felt better after I left because of the way he conducted himself with this laugh, and just like what was wrong with me wasn't amount to anything.
Yeah.
But you did a good job.
I think if you don't enjoy and have a laugh or two every day, you're not living
That's right. Now, your family goes to the Catholic Church,
Yes,
correct?
you're right.
And you've been out there and watched it go from, you've got a new edition now. It's really nice. I haven't been in it, but they tell me that it's
a very
really
nice church. We're tickled to be able to. When we first came here, of course, they didn't have a Catholic church, and we traveled back and forth to Franklin. And the kids had a big time because, well, we had just a little bit of, had a 65 Mustang. Put all the kids in, and with their hats, and we'd
they
go
love
over the
the
jolly
bumps?
when we went to church, and they enjoyed that.
We didn't have to fasten them in with seat belts in, I don't reckon.
That's
if we
right.
did, we sure
they could
didn't.
jump
Chris would
up,
say,
hit the
do it
ceiling."
again, Daddy, do it again.
Yeah.
And they love those bumps. And we get, till this day, they miss the bumps. They'll talk about it when they're in the, you know, on their way to Franklin. But it's changed a lot of it now. And
sure
new
has,
bridges help.
But,
Okay, tell me how you met Dale.
Ha
I bet
Well-
that's a story. Were you in college with him?
We were in college. I went to Emory University my freshman year.
Okay.
And didn't do too well. So my dad says, "You're coming back home." So got to Center College.
Okay.
She'd already finished her first year. Well, I met her, I guess, just shortly after I'd gotten there, and we kind of struck it off all at the beginning. So we met at Center College, and she would get in trouble with her chemistry, and we'd have to get together to make sure how this worked and how it didn't work. But we graduated then in '56, and married in '55. So and she got her degree and was going to teach school to help
finish your education.
That's right. Well, we ended up having 3 babies while I was in medical school. But we made it and enjoyed it, and it's really some good memories there.
Been together many years, haven't you?
Many years, right.
Well, you married, what year did you say you all got married?
55. 1955.
Okay. We graduated from high school in '59.
Yeah,
so I was trying to put my math together here.
Yeah, we'll have our 56th anniversary this December.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we married a little later in life, but we'll be married 50 years in a couple more years. We've got 2 years to go.
Yeah.
But that's you've all had a great milestone, and God's been good to you.
Well, I hope so.
And you've been good to the community.
Well, I appreciate
and
that.
I've wanted to interview you for a long time because I knew you would have some things to tell me. What about the changes that have taken place in Scottsville since you've been here?
Well, it's strange pertaining to the office business part. We get the old tobacco farmers. They'd have big families and couldn't pay at that time, but we put them on the book. When they stripped their tobacco and sold it, you could bound on them for coming in and paying their bill.
The word was their honor, wasn't it?
It's just like the old grocery store, you buy your groceries and pay for it later when you got the money. So we enjoyed that because they were good, honest people, and so we didn't charge them any tax or anything like that. So, but we made it all right.
Well, that's a great thing to do. You and I both have lived to see so many things come to Scottsville.
Yep.
We've got the new courthouse going up, and it's a gorgeous building.
Yes.
It towers over Scottsville.
Yeah.
And a lot of things have changed. The hospital, now saw your patients at the hospital, I call it on the hill up there, right, up by the golf course.
The old Allen County Hospital. We practiced, maybe 25 years, until the Commonwealth Health Corporation built that hospital out there where it is now. So, but we're still practicing out there. So
yeah, you're still at it, and you're not going to stop, are you? As long as you go. I
I'm
can't
gonna keep
visualize you. Even they'll probably like to have you for more things to do with her. I know we women are kind of selfish where our men are concerned, and especially after you've been married as long as you and I have.
Yeah.
But it's a honor to get to talk to you and check up on things that you remember. Do you remember anything about Dr. Davis? I knew him as a soft-spoken, rather quiet man.
Very, very, and though we practiced together for 14, 15 years, we never had a crossword, and he was.
So that shows the kind of people you are.
Yeah, well, that's right, too, and I learned a lot from him, no telling, because. Even though you go through a residency and the internship and stuff, you don't realize what things that you're missing until you see it happen. And
actual hands-on.
Hands-on thing. Yeah, that's exactly right. So
they have to depend somewhat on what they tell you are their symptoms, right? And then you go from there.
That's correct. So, but he was a good man, and I tried to get some young physicians to come in, but they came from the city, not used to small town works, and they'd stay a while, then they decide they better move on. So I've been by myself then from about 75.
Well, it's been a blessing to get to have that family type doctor, you know, because it's true. The practices in larger towns are not like they are in a small town.
No.
And I guess I grew up in the small town, and the doctor really caring about you. And I go to other people, you know, and some of their answers of you know, just floor me as how they are. Distant, I guess, because they have so many patients in the big city, you don't think about things like you did.
Well, I like to know the patients, and in fact, I know that they raise cattle, got hay, and then all that. We have a short chat, you know, and it makes them comfortable.
Yeah, you have you can talk to them about the things they do, and and have that's I hadn't really thought of that in that light, but that's wonderful.
If we spend a little more time than we should sometimes talking about the farming part, but it's. We enjoy it very much.
We used to be tobacco, you know, we had a lot of tobacco in Allen County, because I can remember whenever you looked, just about people were growing tobacco. But, you know, they don't. I'm going to talk to you again if you have time. We're going to do another program right quick. Can you believe it's almost over, this one?
Is that right?
We're running out of time, won't be long. So I want to sit down, stay here with you, and let us go on. I want you to think about anything that you'd like to share to get on the tape for future reference or for your children to enjoy. We've only got a minute left, but I'll tell you, Dr. Hall has been around and has, as far as I know, he has really been an example of sticking with his family, with his wife, and a lot of times I'd see Dale by herself, and I'd think, this is the way a doctor's wife has to live, because you stayed busy, and I didn't see you very often. And I admire you for the work you've done in Scottsville, and I'll say that I love you as my doctor, because you were my doctor for a long time. Still are if I got a migraine and couldn't get help. I'll be saying, Dr. Hall, do something.
Yes.
So thank you for watching From the Heart. And tune in again next time, where we're going to continue to talk to Dr. Hall and let him tell you some more things about his practice and what's happened during the years he's been here.
Cannot see. He will make a way for me. He will be my guide. Hold me closely to his side. With love and strength for each new day, he will make a way. He will make a way. Let's sing it together.